rude to me once. Yeah, but who cares?
Oh, yeah, I know. Comedians are the worst. I don't know if people... I guess people must know that by now, that comedians by nature are just horrible people who are not funny and usually miserable.
Yeah. You know, I met John Mulaney before he was famous. He was doing a bit on stage, and in the middle of the bit, because we were in the back of a bar, the busboy stood up on the stage itself and walked right past him, and he got distracted and never went back to the bit. And then I ran into him about a week later, another comedy club outside. Again, he wasn't famous at this point. He wasn't writing for SNL or anything. And I approached him and I said, "Hey, how does that bit end?" And he's like, I said, "You don't need to tell me the joke. I'm just curious of how the bit ends." And then he was taken aback, and he did not appreciate, even though I think I was perfectly nice about it, because I was like, "Oh, I understand why you were distracted. Of course, I would be distracted too." And then I never heard him do the bit again, and I never heard. So I don't know how it ends. I remember essentially the concept, but I was curious where it was going. It was something about reading his girlfriend's email or something, and I never learned where it went. So I don't think he would do it now. So yeah, but other than, I mean, I don't have like stories of working on sets except someone was tired that day and they were rude. I mean, you put up with it. I mean, it doesn't. I think of it. There was a famous website in the aughts called the A-List, and it would have like every Hollywood rumor about every actor. Yeah. And then it would have all this gossip in it. And most of the gossip were like waiters who were like writing in. Like, I served this person and they were rude. They're rude. Or, gay rumors or whatever. And they were called FODs or Friends of Dorothy.
Yeah.
And it was just nonsense. And it's the same thing. I'm like, okay, so you're going to characterize this whole person's life as being rude because, you didn't get a big enough tip, or you mistook how they looked at you, or they didn't look at you long enough, or they didn't respect your fawning over them as a waiter or something. I don't know that, you can characterize any interaction that way. You don't know if someone had a bad day. I mean, yeah, I don't judge it that way.
I find there's people. No, John Benjamin, by the way, was just sincerely rude to me for about an hour. But there's people who are just never like that. I find, and I just tend to respect them more. Mm-hmm. Larry Miller was a good example for me. I got to open for Larry Miller at a comedy show. Mm-hmm. He was hilarious, but just a really cool, humble guy. Seemed more excited to meet me than I was to meet him, and I just always love that about celebrities, especially someone of his stature. Yeah,
he still does one of the great bits, the 5 stages of drinking.
Yes.
Even I know that one.
I watched that maybe a year ago, and I'm like, this still holds up.
Yeah, he's one of the genuinely nicest people I've ever met in my life. And he actually sat in the audience for every other comic before he got up.
That's cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I thought that was really neat of him. Gord, do you have a famous friend? You got the Iron Chef, buddy.
Yeah, my a buddy of mine went to high school with him, friends with. He's a chef, top-rated chef in Canada. Runs a restaurant in a town called Campbellville next to ours, and he was on Iron Chef Canada, and he went against I can't think of her name at this very moment because I actually can't stand the chick. But he went against this other Iron Chef, and I can't stand this chick, and he just fucking dominated her, made her look like a fool. And
I didn't know it was Iron Chef Canada. I thought it was the real one.
No, it's the Iron Chef Canada.
It's totally different.
Yeah, but still cool enough that a friend of mine got on TV. Like, I mean, he gets a lot of television stuff and spots for owning the restaurant, being a top-rated chef, but to see him on Iron Chef was a real treat for me, being such a fan of the show. So that was pretty awesome.
I got my one famous, and I don't even know if I've told you this, Gord, but I was actually really good friends with Adam Beach before he was anybody.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
We worked together at a restaurant in Calgary.
Oh, no way.
And then he went off to he literally did that thing where he's like, I'm going to go to Hollywood and get famous. And we're all like, yeah, all right, see you in 6 weeks, loser.
And little did you know.
Shortly after that, Wind Talkers came out.
That's funny.
And
I thought he was in some
again.
stuff earlier than that.
Oh, he was. He was. I'm skipping quite a massive leap there, but he never spoke to us again. He never came back to see how the boys were doing or anything. But I guess he goes to Winnipeg quite a bit and visits them. So screw that guy.
That's funny. See, the only other person I ever knew that was any bit famous was when I was in high school. There was this girl who was the stunt double for the little girl in Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh, cool!
That was the closest. Yeah, that was something. Because I mean, the funny thing is she was like at the time she was I think 8 years older than the little girl, but she's such a tiny little thing. She looks like she could pass for a 10-year-old.
And that's a big tie-in for us because one of our biggest fans is the dude from that movie. What a prick I am! I don't remember his name.
No, you talk about him all the time. Come on, I'm gonna make you fucking.
I'm drawing a blank because I'm so tired. Oh my god! There he goes. Now he's not a fan anymore.
That's it.
Am I supposed to know this person offhand?
The redheaded dude from Adventures in Babysitting and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. And
is it Keith or Anthony?
Oh, Keith Coogan.
Keith Coogan. Thank you.
Coogan.
My God. He was the first. He was the first celebrity fan of Eric and Gord. What if we're right?
Yeah.
Is that the dishes are done? That's him.
Yeah, the dishes are done, man. I don't. He's I get weirdly unfamous people who like me. Ashley Simpson, very famously, was a fan of this show. Briefly,
yeah.
We get the whole B team listening to us. I love it.
So I'm going to get a big boost, is what you're saying?
You're going to get a huge boost. We have a very small, very loyal audience, and we appreciate them. It fluctuates here and there. It's going to get bigger. We've got a movie coming out this summer. Not quite on your level, but
it's more like South Park before South Park was known level.
I'd like to say it's
primitive spirit of Christmas stuff.
It's more of a kind of a Robot Chicken type deal. It's a little animated thing I'm doing about me and Gord in the future. We're robots. We're in a horrible car accident and we're made into robots, and nobody likes us. Basically,
this is enticing.
It is. Well, I could give you the full rundown, but I might have to cut it out of the show. What it is in the future, Amazon. There's no more soldiers in war. There's no humans involved in war. It's all drones. And Amazon makes a deal to hire the drones when they come back from war. Amazon promises to give them all jobs. Mm-hmm. And they're all these delivery drones for Amazon, and people just start getting pegged off. Humans are just dying left and right. They can't figure it out. Turns out all the AI drones have PTSD that they didn't know was happening. Mm-hmm. So to cover up their mistake, they frame Gord for blowing up the world.
How long is it? 5 minutes?
I'm pushing for 45.
Okay. And where are you going to put it out? YouTube? Vimeo? Vimeo. We already talked about it.
I think Vimeo might be the place to do it. There's a bunch of little 1-minute movies I've been making. They're horrible, bad little cartoon things. I've been making them for years, just based on me and Gord. And nobody watches them.
I do.
Me and Gordon, I think 3 12-year-old girls. They're really not funny, but I find them dreadfully hilarious. I don't even know where you can find them. I think they're on Facebook right now.
I'm pretty sure they're still on YouTube too, aren't they?
They could be. I love the idea of making a film. I'm constantly writing them. I'm no good at it. I have no talent. I can't act to save my life. But I really like the thought of me doing it.
Yeah, but it's not worth it.
No, but I think my projects are like I'm currently working on a remake of Rocky IV with me in every role.
Okay.
And that's just darn funny. Especially because I can't act. That's
Are you going to
probably
play? Hold on. The most important role in that whole movie is the towel that he won't throw in. So you're going to play the towel.
That's
also?
true. That is true. I didn't think of that. I could play the towel.
And then the other most important person is the guy who cut all those montages together.
Oh yeah, of course. Did he not? No, it was would have been
He directed that one, but
did he direct that one? I wasn't sure if he did or not.
It's been referred to on We Hate Movies, the We Hate Movies podcast, as feed up directing.
Oh, absolutely.
Which it absolutely is. Half the movie is made up of montages or footage from the previous movie, and it barely runs 85 minutes.
That's a great way to do it. And then,
I mean, it's a Full Moon Pictures way of making a movie, except on a big budget. Full Moon made all the Puppet Master movies, and a lot of things like that. And what a lot of the Puppet Master sequels will have huge chunks of footage from previous Puppet Master movies, and just to fill out the time, like there'll be like maybe 45 minutes to 55 minutes of sort of footage, and then 20 to 25 of padding, and then they get to their 80 minutes, and they're like, "We have a feature." What's weird about Rocky IV is that it's that same mindset, except it's a big budget thing.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was. I think it was a big vanity piece for him.
Everything's a big vanity piece for him. He just wants to get crucified and be Jesus. I mean, that's the plot of every one of those things. Rambo, and it
works. I love Rocky. I didn't realize there's a new Rambo. I don't know how new it is.
Last year,
Last Blood. Rambo, Last Blood.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Just discovered this, and neither did I. But I just got a free month of Amazon Prime, and it's on there, so I'll check it out.
I'm actually going to be watching that tonight. Just throwing that out there.
I understand.
Oh, good for you.
It's a good movie if you don't like Mexicans.
Oh,
well, who does? That's great. That should be the title. That should be the tagline. I love it.
Rambo hates Mexicans.
It's a great movie if you don't like Mexicans. That should be the tagline for every movie.
He's not wearing a red hat, but he might as well be.
I see.
Next thing you know, Trump will be promoting the crap out of this movie.
It already tanked. It's over. It's fine.
Hey, pretty soon, I think Mexicans are going to take over your country pretty soon.
How so? If they're not going to let them in, he's already shut down the border.
I've got a funny feeling he's not going to have much of a choice in the future. I see the American empire falling, and it's following suit in much the same way as every empire does, and he just seems to be failing a lot. And I think he's gonna take the country.
Let me just say, as someone who grew up around his kids and knew them, and lived in New York most of my early life, is failing is what he does. That's all he's ever done.
It's true.
Not paying people, being racist. That's what he was known for. Cheating on his wife.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew. He was just a tabloid fixture. He was always a liar. None of this is a surprise to anyone who lived in New York. Zero.
They all knew him.
We were all aware of it. It is not a coincidence that he got like 6% of the vote in New York City, and all of it was in Staten Island.
Fair enough.
Exactly. I'm 100% predictable. There is not a thing that he does that's like, oh, that's new. It's kind of like, okay, well, variations on the theme, because bankrupt, mobster shit, grifting. I mean, that's it. That's what we know.
That's what.
But low level, grifting. Look, you want a perfect encapsulation. I know you don't want to get political, but this is perfect because
I hate getting political.
Okay, but so that story about how his charity was shut down, right?
Yes,
because they were right. So, and the only time they'd ever give money were to his own projects, including they gave $8 to the Boy Scouts right around the same time that his son became a Boy Scout, because that's the registration fee.